Do you like vampires and werewolves? Supernatural shows? If not, why did you click? The title and thumbnail should have given you a hint about what today's video is about. Today, I'm breaking down the first 4 episodes of Slade, a YouTube show by the LA Wolf. No matter how hard Ryan Slade tries running from his past, it always seems to come back to bite him. Watch as Ryan tries to navigate his life with old friends and newfound enemies in the small town of Elderwood. Before I start, I want to be clear about a few things. 1, I didn't go to film school. I'm just a fan of the series. 2, I have no idea how many times I'm gonna mess up names, and I ask for forgiveness ahead of time just in case. I very much enjoy the series and look forward to seeing more. I've even forced my boyfriend to watch it, and he has enjoyed it so far. He also has some theories himself. Go support the LA Wolf by watching it for yourself. Let me change into something that fits what I'm talking about. Can't talk about vampires without something saying bite me on it. Start of episode 1. We get introduced to Ryan Slade, a vampire, as he protects an elderly couple's home from 3 thieves. He talks about pain as he pulls a man's heart out.
You think life is hard? You don't even live long enough to find out what life is. You want to know pain? Allow me to show you a metaphor. Once you have your heart ripped out of your chest by the one person you thought you knew, then you'll know pain. Right now, it's just a moment, and then it'll all be over. You get that luxury.
We then meet Sabrina Parker, as she's running away from the cops. She finds a car and tries to break into it when Ryan shows up. Asks if she needs help, and why she's breaking into a vehicle. She tells him about running away, quote, "She won't leave, and we're the ones left suffering. And I gotta do what's best for us." Ryan then gives her the keys to the car and walks away. We now meet Leon, Gwen, and Allison as they have a snack. Gwen lures a man to her like a siren would. After she is done, Allison burns him alive, as we hear him screaming. Jumping to what looks like an underground fighting pit, we are introduced to a werewolf named Marok, as he fights a vampire to the death, with its eyes glowing blue as he is fighting. Cutting to Ryan, we see him looking sadly at a journal with an old photo of a lady. As Scarlett reads and takes notes, she receives a call from Ryan. Scarlett has visions and was the one who told him about the thieves who were going to break into that home. Ryan has been drinking from blood bags for a while. Quote, "Scarlett, you should be thankful enough I can get you off those blood bags without your moral compass getting in the way. Easier to feed on those who deserve it, isn't it?" We also learn that Ryan has Scarlett looking for someone. Scarlett can't see the past, at least that's what she says here.
They're called visions, Ryan. I can't see the past.
If nothing from her future is showing, then that means she's probably dead.
Items that mean a lot or are very important to someone can help her see better. After the call, Ryan opens an old-looking box and pulls out a bracelet. We see a glimpse of his past. He and the lady from the photo are holding hands, and she is wearing the bracelet. He hears a door open and goes to see what made the noise. Leon tries to land a hit on him and only to be thrown to the ground. Allison asks if they're done being boys. When Ryan asks how they found him, Gwen steps out to quote, "It's not that hard to find a creature of habit." Ryan is a little shocked to see her, saying, "You're alive." We learn that vampires must be invited into a home unless the owner is deceased. Ryan Ryan doesn't seem to be happy with Gwen, but she also points out that strength comes with age. Gwen and Ryan are the same age, and because he's been off fresh blood, he is weaker. We have a short jump to Sabrina, only learning about her selling drugs, and the deputy knows about the concerns about her father. Back with the four of them, Gwen explains why she faked her death. A witch who was forced to be in love with her, Siren Vampire. They didn't end up well on the best of terms, after he helped her. Her ruby necklace is like Ryan's ring. It's a lot like that fancy ring of yours. Only difference is I had to work to get mine, quote Gwen. His ring doesn't look like it has a ruby in it. We learn that witches have different magic, as Gwen says, to quote, his light magic didn't allow him to do the spell. We get a flashback to 50 years ago when Ross gave up his light magic to do the spell.
It's done.
Looks a lot like he got possessed. Getting back to today, Gwen says that Ross spilled the beans on how to recreate the spell, and that they came to Elderwood for a reason. And Ryan is one of the pieces of the puzzle. Jumping to Marok, we meet Talia. They are cousins. They talk about why he got into the ring in the underground fighting pit. The wolves of the town go there to get their anger out, but it's not looked at favorably. Back to Ryan, he calls Scarlet, letting her know that something came up and that they'll talk about it, and he'll meet her in a bit. He grabs a bracelet. One is trying to make a call to someone named Danny, who's not picking up. Leon asks who that is, and she says no one. Leon asks Gwen how long she plans to wait before asking about Ryan's brother. To quote Gwen, it's not that easy. Ryan's like a ticking time bomb. Got the wrong chord and it's over. Leon questions Gwen's planning, angering her. Ryan is our only opportunity to get wolf blood scratch-free. We can't lose that. Ryan watches as Allison throws away the body she burned in a dumpster. He takes a moment to think, looking at the bracelet. Deciding to stay, asking Gwen questions. We also now learn that Ryan's brother, Ray, is a werewolf, as he calls him a mutt. Quote, never hear the end of it from my indecisive brother. Speaking of the mutt. We learn Ray's name later when Leon and Allison are talking, but if you watched the More Than Just Me series, you would have already known his name. Before Gwen can say anything, Leon and Allison walk in, talking about looking for dinner. Ryan tells them about an alleyway on the rougher side of town, and gives them a rule of no more than 2. Ryan takes them to a rundown looking building so that they don't have a Buffy reunion. Allison says,
it's one thing to leave on a goose hunt for your dead ex-girlfriend, but you could have at least said goodbye.
Ryan calls Allison needy and to quote him, besides, that isn't the only reason why I left. Gwen tells Leon and Allison to go get fresh food so she can catch up with an old friend. Jumping to Sabrina, talking with George, asking if she can cut him a deal, she says no, and reminds him that he knows why she's doing this. They plan to meet in an alley. Leon and Allison talk about their doubts about Gwen's plan. Leon being overconfident that he can fight Ryan. And Allison reminds him that overconfidence is why he ended up on the floor. Leon asks what's so special about Ray. Allison says, quote, "He is the key to getting our wolf blood scratch-free." Back with Ryan and Gwen, as he has the last drops from a blood bag. Gwen says she needs to recreate the spell for the other two to trust her. Quote, "As if I need to prove anything to them." They are there to do her dirty work. Wolf blood is needed for the spell, quote, "to counter our blood," quote. Gwen attempts to guilt Ryan because he abandoned the group as a means of emotional leverage. Quote, "Figured since you abandoned us, you owe us a bit of a favor." Ryan realized why Gwen is here. His brother, Ray. Allison tells Leon about Ray and Gwen being a thing before she was turned, and that the town of Elderwood is the home to werewolves. Ryan tells Gwen that he hasn't spoken with his brother in a very long time, and that it has nothing to do with him, and he wants nothing to do with his brother. Trying to guilt Ryan, Gwen brings up the past. Quote, "You swore. You left me for dead." Ryan replies, "You were never my responsibility." She tries again to guilt him before seeming to give up, saying,
It's a shame you have a lot of debt, Ryan. You might want to start paying it before it comes back to bite you.
Ryan leaves to talk to Scarlett. When Ryan brings up Gwen not being dead, she doesn't seem completely surprised by it. He points out that the last time he asked about Gwen was over 6 years ago, and that Gwen might have found a way to block her vision due to her affection for witchcraft. Ryan tells Scarlett to find out what she can on Gwen, putting off looking for Vanessa for later. Ryan reminds her that she does need to help him. Quote, "Let's not forget, I got you out of being her little circuit psychic." Scarlett tells Ryan she's going to need something important from Gwen if she does have a spell to block her vision. Jumping to Marok and Talia, as they're still talking. Nothing too important happens, just seems like family thinking about those they've lost, and Marok showing he cares that Talia is safe and happy. After that, we jump to Sabrina, climbing into a room from a window. She stops and hears her father and mother talking to the police. Her father is saying, "You know, with everything she has put this family through, you'd be doing us a favor by taking her in." She then starts grabbing clothing, a blanket, and a bracelet on the ground, then leaves. In the background, you can see a photo of her and a little girl. We cut to Ryan flying when he lands on a building with bat-like or demon-like wings. Clearly something on his mind, while looking at his ring. He then smells a werewolf and flies off to them. That werewolf being Marok. Marok smells Ryan, asking if he's following him. Ryan says, "Well, I know a mutt when I smell one. You're just not the one I was hoping for." I personally think he was hoping to find Ray here. Even if it was to just let him know that Gwen is alive and that she's looking for him just for his blood. Marok and Ray have a back and forth asking each other why they're in town, and they seem ready to fight each other. Ryan leaves after hoping they never cross paths again. Quote, "Next time, I might not be tired." We do see another werewolf was watching. In this moment, Ryan seems like he doesn't care about werewolves, but before these two get right into each other's faces, Ryan does suggest that Merrock leaves so he doesn't get pulled into their game. Jumping to Sabrina in an alleyway when Leon asks her what she's selling. She puts his number in her phone, and they plan to meet up in a few days. After he walks away, Leon and Allison agree that she looks like a lost cause. Brian shows up, reminding them only 2 kills or things start to look suspicious. The episode ends with Leon and Allison tempting Ryan. Leon saying, quote, "I know you smell her blood." Episode 2 starts with a flashback to 1 month ago. Danny and her brother Frankie are discussing her plan to put a ruby into her arm. Rubies are hard to come by and are the only gem that can harness the sun's energy. Gwen needs 3 for the spell to work. Danny says she's doing this because she loves Gwen and wants to keep her brother safe from the sun. If I had to guess, Gwen used her siren power on Danny, most likely. Cutting to when Danny has arrived and was on her way to meet Gwen, Danny gets shot with a wooden bullet and tries to run, but doesn't get far. We don't get to see what happens to her. Now, picking up where we left off in the last episode, Leon says, well, see, we're smart about it. Brian replies, good. Now how about you make yourself useful and jump off a bridge? Oops. Seeming to throw shade at Leon about something. Leon and Allison kind of laugh it off and then leave. Brian overhears Sabrina and George talking. She lost some of what she needed for clients. She says she'll go to the clinic tonight and meet him the next day. Brian follows her, wondering what she's up to. Sabrina sneaks into the clinic, grabs the meds, and leaves. Brian leaves after seeing she has a sister, Sarah, and that she's in the car. Sabrina makes a promise to Sarah that it's going to be okay. Jumping to a toy shop, we meet Kelly. As she is closing up the shop, Leon and Allison show up asking about who would run the shop if Kelly were dead. As they get ready to kill, Merrock happens to walk by and sense them. Before they can hurt Kelly, he walks in and asks if he can look for his wallet. Walking into the next aisle, he comes face to face with Gwen. Not much is said or done, other than his eyes go blue and Gwen's go red and black. After that, the 3 vampires leave. Kelly thanks him. After Merrock leaves, Kelly pulls out a wooden stake and makes a call, telling someone there's a problem and that they're back. Jumping to morning, we watch as a couple go into the Elder Woods. The boyfriend finds the body of the 3 thieves. We cut to a clinic as 2 people talk about the bodies that were found, with what looks to be bite marks. Susan, Dr. Gomez, advises keeping it classified as an animal attack, but to bring the reports to her. We now meet Duke, as he wants to see the files on the 3 guys, asking Susan for them. We see that someone is listening in to the conversation. He doesn't get the files and then leaves, but not before saying,
If you guys stop getting these mysterious animal attack calls, you'll know who to thank.
Jumping to Ryan cleaning the elder couple's home and feeding their dog. He senses somebody as they cut themselves pulling plants. Ryan is struggling to control himself and compels her to run away. He runs back to the home he's been staying at and takes his ring off for a short time, burning himself in the sunlight. After putting it back on, he calls Scarlet, asking if she has any bad guys to kill. She doesn't. He's been off of human blood too long. Scarlet asks what he's gonna do. He says he's gonna call in a favor. Jumping to the wood, Marok is walking when Talia shows up and tries to hit him. Angry, he tried to leave without saying goodbye. Cutting to Sabrina talking with George on the phone. Tells him she only had time to get what Sarah needed, and they make plans to meet up later that night. He and Sarah then play tag. Back to Marok and Talia as they talk about the bodies that were found and how they were killed by vampires. We learn that there is a treaty between the wolves and the hunter. Rule: wolves stay out of dealing with vampires and let the town handle it. Seems like this might have been the reason why he left in the first place. Marok says he followed the bodies that they were leaving behind. Jumping to Susan in the clinic again, she goes to a fridge with donor blood. Something on her mind. She then gets a page, finds Ryan in a waiting room. She tells him off about mind controlling her doctors and killing the thieves. Cutting to Sabrina, she and Sarah are just playing. And then she listens to a voicemail from her mother. Going back to Marok, he agrees to stay if Talia makes tacos. Then jump to nighttime with Ryan and Susan talking. Real quick here, I have to ask, was there something in the editing that messed up this area? Because it's confusing that they were talking in the daytime and then suddenly it's nighttime for them. We don't see them go do anything else, nothing to clarify time passage for these guys. I don't know. Anyways, Susan lets Ryan know that Duke is back in town and that Kelly is his sister. Cutting to Duke at his sister's home, he and Kelly are not that close, as neither of them call, really. Kelly tells him a wolf saved her by scaring off the 3 vampires. Duke doesn't like any kind of monster. He's disappointed in Kelly for the treaty with the wolves. Quick detail I want to point out right now so that it's, pin it. Duke is wearing a necklace that looks like it has a ruby in it. Back to Ryan and Susan. They're still talking about Duke and Kelly being hunters and siblings. Ryan is upset Susan did not tell him, but she does point out, quote, "You've been fine this whole time without knowing." Susan tells Ryan, Duke's only looking for a monster to react to. Don't even give him that satisfaction. And hands Ryan a blood bag. Cutting to Sabrina and Sarah, they get Sarah's clothes washed. Sabrina is putting the clothing in the washer, and Sarah looks at her bracelet and sighs. Jumping to Leon, Allison, and Gwen, as they're cleaning up so that there's no trace of Gwen because of Ross, and keeping Ryan off her back. Gwen says, quote, "But that's why I got you, to get rid of my evidence. Light him up." Allison doesn't seem to be happy with those words. Back with Sabrina and Sarah, Sarah asks if Mom and Dad missed them, and Sabrina says they're just on vacation. Sabrina again says her promise to Sarah that everything's gonna be okay. Jumping to Ryan calling Gwen to tell them to meet up and to call her stupid. Gwen tells Leon that if things go south, she'll let him take care of Ryan. Ryan mind controls someone and takes their bike for the fun of it, I guess. It appears that when Ryan performs the mind control / compel, he must look directly into their eyes with nothing obscuring their view. Note to self, wear sunglasses. Might keep you safe from it. Once the other three make it to the place, Ryan gets right to it. Them making a scene at Kelly's shop and how she is one of the last people they want to piss off. Gwen calls it having fun. Leon says they can't sit around the house and mope all day, and that they're getting stuff done. Leon and Ryan fight. The first time we get a good look at Leon's shield. Ryan wins the fight.
She'd rather watch you die and fall by my hands.
Warning them one time to get out of Elderwood. And Gwen tells him that what happens next will be out of their hands. They leave, and Ryan shows he took her necklace. You can clearly see it's missing from her neck a few scenes before this, too. I actually missed that the first few times I was watching. So, that's a nice detail. That is also the end of episode 2. Episode 3 starts with Gwen talking with Frankie, getting a fake necklace to replace the one Ryan took. They talk about Danny being missing. We learn that Danny thinks her and Gwen are dating, but Gwen can't stand her. Gwen tells him she'll kill them both if she doesn't get the ruby she needs when she needs it. Jumping to Ryan visiting Scarlet, letting her know he, quote, destroyed every single reason why Gwen's in town right now. Flashback to the fight, we see Ryan quickly take Gwen's necklace. Out of the flashback, he shows it to Scarlet. Cutting to Allison and Leon as he wakes up. She gives him a bag of blood. She then tells him that Gwen was pissed when she realized what Ryan did. She flipped a car and then flew off. Talk about the fight and how Gwen just stood there while Ryan beat Leon. Leon says he just wants to be done. Quote, I'm getting a little tired of the secrecy. Jumping to Marok after his workout, he calls Talia, reminding her of the deal. She makes tacos, and he stays. After letting her boss know her cousin's in town, and she's just trying to enjoy the time she has with him, her boss gives her the week off. They speak, I think it's Spanish because he says, quote, miss their favorite Spanish teacher. So, thankfully, subtitles are in the video. YouTube subtitles can be very wrong sometimes. I also don't understand anything other than English. Cutting back to Ryan and Scarlet, they discuss the necklace and how Ryan got it. Scarlet is not happy that he hurt Leon. The quote, you know Gwen's one pulling his strings. Why would you go out of your way to hurt him? Ryan does let her know he didn't kill him. After that, it jumps to Gwen, Leon, and Allison talking about the plan. Leon is upset because they are now down Ryan and Gwen's necklace. Gwen says, quote, every move I make is calculated. She then explains the werewolf Marok was not alone when they were in the toy shop, and tells them that Kelly is from a family of hunters. Talia is now just locking up and leaving. Leon notices her and chases her. Talia does get away safely, and Gwen scolds Leon. Talia, making it home, kind of lies to Marok about why her heart is racing, saying it's just from her getting the week off. Gwen tries calling Danny again, and Allison starts asking questions like, How rare are the rubies? Leon starts getting upset and pisses Gwen off. To quote her, "The next time you question me, I won't be needing Ryan. I'll finish the job myself." Going back to Ryan and Scarlett again, Scarlett is setting up a harvesting station, which helps for a clear read on what she's seeing. She doesn't do it all the time because items can only be used once, and she doesn't have a lot of the items. Scarlett does her thing, and the flashback of Ross giving up his powers happens. When asked what she saw, she says, quote, "Darkness. A lot of it." Back to Gwen and Allison, they talk about back in the day, Ray and Gwen would come visit this town and check in. Ray knew the alpha of the wolves back when they were still hiding from the hunters. Allison picks up that Gwen was hoping Ray would be in Elderwood. If he was, Gwen was hoping they could use him for her advantage. Then she could, quote, "rip his head off and punt it into the ocean like a football." She is mad at him because she is what she is because of him, stuck that way. Real fast here, if Gwen does hurt either Ray or Ryan, I will kick her butt to Timbuktu and back. I don't care that I'm human, I'll do it. Cutting to Leon on the phone with someone, talking about how he and Ryan sparred back in the day, and he just needs time for his shield to fully regenerate. Leon is just playing the game a little longer. After that, no more Gwen. It's now daytime as we see Talia being chased after by a werewolf named Seth. Jumping to Scarlett as she's doing some reading, she goes to look at her nose from last night and sees Gwen upset putting on a fake necklace. Cutting to Ryan having a great time with the garden lady. Scarlett calls to tell him about what she saw, thinking Gwen had another real one. Ryan tells her it's fake and that Gwen learned the trick from him, as he did the same thing when he got his ring. Quote, "Can't be a sitting duck if no one ever sees you vulnerable." Scarlett asks where the real one is, and Ryan doesn't tell her. The lady says time's up, and they get back to having a good time. Jumping to Sabrina and Sarah as they wake up at 12:30. Sabrina checks how much money she has, and then decides they have to go look in the garbage for food, as she didn't meet up with George that night. Back to Talia and Seth, he tells her she's getting rusty. She can't run wild now that she has a job, and Seth has a pack to run around with. They talk about Marok being back in town. To quote, "Apparently, he's been on the trail of a couple vampires, and they led him all the way here to Elderwood." Seth tells her that Duke is back in town too. Flashback to Duke asking for the files, Susan tells Seth, quote, "You need to keep your people off the radar." Duke and his men will find any motive to kill them. Out of the flashback, Seth tells Talia they need to lay low because of Duke. He'll find any reason to kill them. Talia lets him know she knows. Cutting to Ryan, he's in a good mood, drinking wine. As Allison is walking in the daylight, she is on fire. She interrupts his good time, Ryan asking her how, and she shows him. Quote, "The sun can't burn what's already on fire." She still feels the pain when she is on fire. Jumping back to Talia and Seth again. Seth asks what Marok was planning on doing if he ran into the vampires. Talia replies, "You know what he wants to do, but I told him he can't." Seth implies something will happen if he reacts. Talia that's what she can do because Merrick does what he feels is right, and right now, she sees why. Seth tells her she needs to call the head hunters and let them know what's going on so that they can handle it. She asks if they even can. Quote, "So far these vampires just got here, and they've already killed several innocent people, Seth." Seth replies, "That's not our problem. They told us to stay out of it, so we will. We can't risk the safety of our people." Angrily, Talia tells Seth she was chased by a vampire. Quote, "And you know what I had to do? I had to run. What if they got me? Where's the safety in our people there?" Seth reminds her she decided to distance herself from them. That's not our fault. You got upset when Marok left and ended up doing the exact same thing to us. He then asks if she's trying to prove that she is worthy enough to have a place there. He warns that both she and Marok need to stay out of it. It won't end well if the other wolves find out Marok is back and that he needs to leave town. Well, and if you expect our people to have your back, they need to stop putting us in danger. You're doing the exact same thing he did. Because he cares about her, he tells her with his eyes going gold, "You need to stand down. This is not your fight." Talia only says, "Now I know why Marok left," and leaves. Liz, another werewolf, was watching, and doesn't seem to be happy that Seth was talking with Talia. Heading back to Sabrina and Sarah, walking around. Sabrina looks in a garbage bin and Sarah spots the toy shop, walking away. Finding a sandwich, Sabrina turns to find that Sarah has walked away to the shop and asks to go look in. They meet Kelly, who gives Sarah a doll and offers to buy them food, and they agree. Jumping back to Ryan and Allison, they talk about Gwen and the fact that the job to get wolf blood should have already been done. Allison thinks it comes down to Ryan and Ray. Gwen is scared of Ross and, quote, "You know what your brother is capable of." She doesn't want to leave until one of the brothers bites. Ryan asks why she is here, and Allison kind of burns his hand while telling him she already told him.
I already told you I don't want no parts of what Gwen's got going on. That's why I left.
Allison says Ryan owes her because he led her on and then left, breaking her heart. They kiss, and then she says, "We'll call it even." Leon snaps Ryan's neck, getting burnt a little bit by the sun coming from the window. We see a flashback of Leon and Allison talking about the plan before they start looking for the necklace. Allison says, quote, "Ryan acts like he doesn't have a heart, but unfortunately, he was cursed with one. It'll always be his downfall." Cutting to Seth, still in the forest. Some of the other wolves bring up that he said that they were going to run. He said he had to deal with something, and Liz, the one who saw them talking, says talking with Talia. Marok gets brought up, and Liz says that they don't need him anymore, and that she'll keep his little secret for now. We learn that Seth is second in command in the pack. Jumping back to Kelly, Sabrina, and Sarah eating. Kelly orders the restaurant's famous cakes, not knowing Sarah is allergic to peanuts and Sabrina is all out of EpiPens. They get her to the hospital. Sabrina and Sarah's father shows up and starts yelling at Sabrina. She leaves, and while she drives by the house, they see her father being taken away. Sarah also being taken away. The episode ends with Sabrina going to Kelly's home. Episode 4 has a lot of flashbacks and some moments of self-deleting thoughts. You have been warned. starting off the bat with a flashback to Virginia, 1858. Ryan is running through the woods from someone fast. When they get right in front of him, it's Vanessa, who would be faster if she didn't have a dress on. Ryan says she looks amazing and calls her queen. She corrects him that her mother is the queen. He goes to kiss her and she turns her head away playfully. Back in the present day, Gwen acts clumsy, getting a cute guy's attention. He offers to cook for her when she asks where she can get a bite. Allison changing clothes and fixing up her makeup, well, she's looking for the necklace. She finds the lady Ryan was having a fun time with in the bathtub dead, with the box that had Vanessa's bracelet in it. It now also has Gwen's necklace in it. Allison and Leon talk about what she knows about Ryan's past and Vanessa. Back to the flashback, Ryan asks how Vanessa is able to walk in the sun. He calls vampires night seekers.
I thought night seekers could not walk during the daylight.
This is true for others, but not for the first family.
They talk about how he is a thief, and she has to feed on living people. Ryan tells her she can feed on him, and she says no, not with him. Ryan says, quote, "I want to be with you forever, no matter what it takes." And then they kiss. Back to Allison talking about it. Allison thinks Vanessa is dead. They also know that Ryan is over 150 years old. Vanessa's family had a huge part in Ryan and Ray's curse. Allison leaves to go get a ride. Cutting to Scarlet as she tries to find out what spell was needed to be able to walk in the sun. She's dancing and reading until she finds something. She calls Ryan, who's not picking up right now. Jumping back to Gwen as she sirens the boy, uses her power to make him love her. If someone has strong enough feelings for someone else, they might be able to snap out of her lust. People who are hurt are easier to control. She then tells him to update her on the town, starting with Kelly. Speaking of Kelly, cutting to her home, Kelly and Sabrina talk about Sarah and what happened after Kelly left her alone at the hospital. Sabrina tells Kelly that she was the one keeping Sarah safe from what was happening in the house. She thought getting her out of the home completely would be better. Now she feels like she just made it worse. Kelly reassures her that she did the best she could for Sarah. Jumping to Allison as she kills and takes a mechanic's truck. She sets fire to the shop and leaves. Getting back to the house, she tells Leon to put Ryan in the trunk. And they go and bury him someplace. Cutting to Marok after a shower, he sees an old photo of himself and Talia. Thinks back to the day he brought her here. We see a flashback to 4 years ago. Marok found the town because his mother told him about it when he was younger. Talia is hesitant to find a home again after losing their family in pack to vampires. She is scared that the vampires will find them and finish them. Marok promises that he will do everything he can so that they don't ever have to flee for their lives again. Jumping to the place Allison set on fire, the police are investigating. Back to Gwen and the guy she has under her control, as he tells her about the Hunter family and how he couldn't imagine Kelly hunting because she's sick with lupus. Real fast, I had to look up lupus. Yeah, I can't see anybody hunting the supernatural when their own body is attacking itself like that. Jumping to Talia making coffee. Coffee enhances everything for wolves: energy, alertness, memory, and metabolism. They have a cute moment about Marok's chubby face. He asks if she needs anything else before he leaves to get more coffee for the morning. Back to Allison and Leon. The conversation here made me care about the suit real fast. Leon asks if it's really painful for her to walk in the sun. It does hurt. And Leon asks this whole time. Allison explains how she found out she could walk in the sun. You see the flashback to that day. Quote, "In a weird way, the flame was protecting me." Allison drops the fact that her ability is the only reason why Gwen needs her, and she doesn't want to be alone again. Cutting to Talia as the news talks about the fire. Seth shows up to talk about it. Seth says, "I understand you care about your cousin, but the more time you wait, the more people will continue dying like today. Hey, you need to call Kelly." Jumping to Kelly and Sabrina, they talk about Sarah's health and how her dad ended up there. She broke her promise that everything was going to be okay to Sarah. Sabrina notices the time and is going to leave when Kelly tells her it's dangerous at this time. Offers to let her stay until at least sunup. Sabrina says she has to go and leave. Getting back to Gwen as she's making out with the guy. She thanks him for the update on the town. She wants Duke in town. And she feeds from him again. Jumping to the crime scene, the sheriff at first doesn't let Duke take a look. But after guns get pulled out, he gives in so that there's no bloodshed. Getting back to Leon and Allison, she asks him what he's up to. He says that it's just Gwen, and yes, he knew what he was getting into when he signed up, but he feels like she's up to something that they're not in on. Flashback to when he was human in 1965, and he tells her about what happened. He turned to boxing, and the one time his parents showed up, he killed someone. They saw him as a monster. There was no turning back from that, so he went to a bridge. Before he did anything, Gwen shows up. He was 17 when he left his family. For the past 43 years, he has been looking for them. Allison says it out loud that Ryan was right. Gwen doesn't care about them. She is just using their pain to control them. She says that after the spell is done, Gwen can deal with Ross on her own. But right now, they have plans. Jumping to Marok, walking by the crime scene and listening in, hears someone say that they might have a code V. Flashback to 2 years ago, the day Marok left. Alpha of the pack kicked him out of town because they disagreed on something. Marok says he can't sit around while vampires kill people. He is very upset and angry, blaming himself. If only he had gotten back sooner. Talia reminds him he saved her, but that's not enough for him. While Talia is trying to stop Marok, he turns around and growls at her. He looks guilty after he did that, saying sorry, and then leaves. Heading to Sanchez, knocking at Kelly's door to ask her about what's happening, as Duke showed up and is adamant about taking over the investigation himself. The sheriff feels left in the dark. At the same time, Talia is deciding to call Kelly. We don't hear what Talia tells Kelly, but Kelly tells Sanchez she might have something. Jumping to Sabrina in the alleyway, Leon asks about making a trade instead of paying her. She says she doesn't do trades. And Allison comes out saying, "You haven't even heard our offer yet." Before they can do anything to Sabrina, Ryan finally shows up and snaps Leon's neck. Quote, "You guys just keep thinking you can walk around with no consequences. I'm done giving chances." And he pulls Allison's heart out. She just started to redeem herself in my eyes. Sabrina, rightfully terrified, tells him he can take the car and to please don't hurt me. Ryan does his mind control on her by telling her, "Don't be afraid," and she won't remember anything, snapping his fingers. Leon wakes up to find Allison on the ground. He's very sad and upset at her death. Back in the truck, he calls Gwen, letting her know something happened. Gwen, not caring about what happened, tells him to meet her in front of City Hall. The plan is in motion. And we see the cute guy dead. Leon buries Allison. Thinks back to his memories with her. It's a bittersweet. Quote, "Now you're free of the pain." There is some smoke coming out of the ground where he buried her. Leon meets up with Gwen. He gives her the necklace that they found. When she asks where Allison is, he tells her Ryan got her, and she's gone. Gwen gets upset. Allison was to be kept safe. Leon was supposed to make sure of that. If he can't do that, what good is he? She was the only other vampire who could walk in the sun. Leon brings up that Allison still felt the pain. Gwen calls it sacrifice. Brings up the plan, she just needed a little more time. She mentions him looking for his family. Jumping to Scarlett doing some reading when Ryan shows up. Not looking the best. Scarlett gets him some deer blood. She tells him what she found out, and he already knew about the need for a dark wish to do the spell. Needing 3 rubies was new to him. After Ryan leaves, someone calls her. We don't hear what they talk about. Cutting to Sabrina waking up in the rundown house Ryan took her to, and her remembering he's the one who gave her the car. At the end of this episode, we see Leon show up at Scarlett's and kiss her. I have a few questions. I've put them into 2 categories: story-driven questions and how the world works questions. We're gonna start with the story-driven ones. How did Ryan get his ring? Gwen does say that she had to work to get hers. So that begs the question of how did Ryan get his? What were the other reasons for Ryan leaving the group? How did the hunters know where Danny was going to be? Why does Duke have a necklace that looks like it has a ruby in it? What did Ray do that got Gwen turned into a vampire? How did the first vampire family turn Ray into a werewolf? And why? Did Leon, Allison, and Gwen need Ryan alive for something later? Or did they forget that he would heal from his neck being snapped? Starting with a question from my boyfriend, actually. What are the limits to magic? He's a big D&D nerd, so this doesn't actually surprise me that he wants to know the limits of magic in a world. How often do vampires need to feed? And can vampires overfeed on blood? Does each vampire have a different healing speed? Or does it depend on how well they're fed? Because it seems like it took Ryan, who's older and hadn't been feeding on fresh blood for a while, an entire day, maybe, to recover from his neck being snapped. But it took Leon less time. You made it this far. Thank you. I know this was long, but I knew I had to do this right, and it would have to be long. I am working on a theory video, but I am going to wait until episode 5 and the Q&A are out. And as of recording, they're not out yet. As of writing this and recording, I have too many questions and not enough answers to put anything together without making big guesses without any evidence. Hopefully, we'll get more to work with very soon. Go watch the series yourself and share your theories in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.